Hi, Steve Bustin from Get Your Voice Heard here. I've got another top tip for you on how to get your voice heard from the stage. The way we experience presentations and speeches has changed in the last few years. The days of stand and deliver and just talking at your audience for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, even an hour are over. Audiences now want and expect interaction. Our attention spans have gotten much shorter, largely as a result of social media. So we need to learn from social media and those sorts of platforms on how we can engage our audience and make sure that they are part of a conversation during a presentation, that they're not just in listen mode, they're in active mode. So think about how you can start to generate interaction with the people who are listening to your speech or presentation. So you might use certainly questions, throwing questions out there and asking for responses. Don't just make them rhetorical questions. But make sure that you want a response. Make sure you let people know that they're expected to respond to you. Another way is straw polls. Show of hands, how many people have done this? And a top tip, if you want people to put their hands up in a straw poll, put your hand up as you ask for it. So say, straw poll, who's tried this or who thinks this? You putting your hand up gives permission to other people to put their hand up. Another thing you can do is you can use a Twitter hashtag to take interaction. So you set the hashtag at the start of the session and then you encourage people to tweet their questions, their queries to keep the conversation going. And then later on in your speech or presentation, you can whip out your phone or your iPad, look at the hashtag and say, right, I can see we've had a question on this. People really enjoy that ability to be part of the presentation, but it also allows people to ask questions when maybe they might be too shy or too nervous to put their hand up to ask. If you're in a darkened room, for instance, you can also say to people, right, get your phones out, switch on the screen and hold them up to show me whether you agree with this statement or not. And you get a lovely vision of all these lighted up phones as people vote yes or no. It's almost worth having your phone handy to take a photo, because actually to capture those results. It's a lovely way to get interaction. Audiences love it. And while we're on phones, there are now loads of apps that you can use to hold polls where the results can appear directly on the screen behind you. People can text their responses. People can even text a number to download a document or an ebook or something like that. So you can really interact with your audience as you go. You can even start to collect data. So that can be a really useful way to be able to interact with your audience after your speech or presentation. So if you are planning a speech or presentation and all you are doing is talking at your audience, you're behind the times. You now need to find ways of interacting, ways of making your presentation a conversation with your audience. It'll make your presentation far more effective. It means your audience will enjoy it far more, and it means that you are more likely to get your voice heard.